Hi, my name is Qhairul Qayyim. I'm 12 years old. I'm from SK BATU 29. I would like to tell a story about the elves and the shoemaker. Once a shoemaker lived with his wife in a little house. They worked very hard but still could not earn enough money to make both ends meet. One day, the shoemaker had nothing left but leather for one pair of shoes. So, in the evening, he cut out the leather and left it in the shop, thinking, tomorrow I will sew the shoes using this leather. At night, the shoemaker felt very upset and thought, it's so hard for me to make a living these days. But then, leaving all his cares to God, he lay down quietly in his bed. The next morning, when the shoemaker went to his shop, he saw a beautiful pair of leather shoes just ready to be sold to any customers. The shoemaker and his wife were wonderstruck to think who had made the beautiful pair of shoes using the leather. The shoemaker placed the pair of shoes on display in the shop window. Soon after, a young man came in. He liked the shoes so much that he paid a handsome price for them, and the shoemaker was so happy. That evening, the shoemaker bought leather for making 2 pairs of shoes. He cut out the leather for the shoes and left it in the shop again. The next morning, the shoemaker reached his shop early. He was very excited to prepare the new shoes, but when he opened his shop, he was highly amazed to see the shoe ready. He was at a loss to follow who was doing his job at night. That day also, when the shoemaker placed the shoes on display, 2 buyers readily came in and paid him a good price for the shoes. The shoemaker got enough money to buy leather for 4 more pairs. This went on for a number of days. Night after night, the shoemaker would cut the leather and left it on his workbench. In the morning, he would find new shoes magically finished, ready to sell. Needless to say, the shoemaker became a fairly rich man before long. One day, his wife said, "We must find out who does all this for us after all." The shoemaker's wife liked the idea, and the couple hid behind a curtain. From there, they could easily watch the workman's bench without being seen. Just at midnight, 2 little elves jumped into the shop through the window and came to the workbench, skipping and dancing. The hiding couple were tired to see them. Thereafter, the 2 elves began to work at the cut leather. They stitched it back and forth while their little fingers very skillfully and quickly. How skillfully these shoes have been made! The stitches are so fine indeed. They both just went on admiring the shoes for long. The shoemaker could not help admiring the elves, how their needles flew back and forth while their hammers beat a rap-tap, rap-tap. The shoemaker said to his wife, "We must be thankful to our little helpers. What can we do for them after all? Their clothes were no better than rags. I ought to see them new suits, and you should make them tiny boots," suggested the wife, and that was exactly what they did. When the suits and the boots were ready, the shoemaker and his wife left them upon the workbench for their little helpers to have them. The shoemaker and his wife were very happy now. Instead of cutting leather, they again hid behind the curtain to watch what the little elves would do. Just as before, when it was midnight, in jumped the little elves, seeing the new suits and boots lying on the workbench for them. They chuckled and dressed themselves up in their fine new clothes. Putting on the suits and the boots, the elves clapped their hands in rhythm. Then both of them sang and danced, skipped and leaped out of joy. The delight elves were all thanks to the shoemaker couple in their heart of hearts. They capered playfully out of sheer joy for a while and at last skipped out of the window to disappear. Thank you.